Hello everyone and welcome back to the garden. I know it's been a long time since we've had a video, but trying to get back into this. Today we're going to be talking about growing our Dutch irises from start to finish. You'll remember last season I planted a bunch of Dutch irises. I think I planted about 100 of them in total, and a lot of different varieties that we could have kind of a little bit of a flower trial. There's a video on that if you haven't seen that video. If you want to see the different varieties, each of these different varieties, there's a video. I'll put the link in the little cards here so you can click on that and see that if you want. But I just had a little small, like 3-foot by 3-foot Dutch iris patch. These things are great cut flowers, but you do have to make sure you know when to cut them and when to pick them to really get the most out of their vase life. I mainly just let mine flower open up and bloom this spring simply because donations weren't open yet, and I really wanted to show y'all what they actually looked like. So the process of growing these is actually insanely simple. Getting right into this, first we need some irises, obviously. Now these packages generally suggest a depth of about 6 to 8 inches, which I think is a little bit deep. Honestly, I planted mine much shallower, probably about 2 to 4 inches, and you can see they have a base where the roots come out and a pointy tip, that's the top, so we want to stick them into the dirt just like that. I should also mention that you might want to put some gloves on. I know I don't have any gloves on in this video, but the bulbs and things can kind of irritate your skin and cause a little bit of I guess, contact dermatitis. So you might want to throw some gloves on as well, just to make sure that you're protecting yourself. I know a lot of these ornamental flowering bulbs can be an issue with things like that. I'm just pushing these into some nice, well-amended garden soil that I have worked with my shovel. I'm not going to add any fertilizer or anything to the hole. I never do that with my bulbs. In fact, if you do want to fertilize in the fall, what I like to do personally is cover everything up and then use like a pelleted fertilizer. But like I said, my soil is pretty good at this point, so I didn't do any of that. These have started to come up very, very quickly. These actually started to begin growing in the fall and through winter. I had this nice green foliage. I should point out I am here in Kentucky. I'm in zone 6B/7, really depending upon the winter. But this foliage for these are nice and strong and robust. For some reason, my cat just loved sitting next to them. I should also mention that they are toxic, so you want to make sure to, keep your kids and pets away and all that good stuff. Keep them safe. I'm fortunate that my cat is really good about not getting into things that she's not supposed to get into. So just something else to consider when growing these. We had a severe ice storm. It didn't seem to affect them at all, and things just looked great. As you can see, spring arrived. They got bigger and bigger and taller and taller. You'll notice I planted these up against the foundation of my house. Everything I've read tells me that, they prefer a spot that is a little bit drier. So maybe that was a good choice considering, the overhang of my house. In the spring, they started to form these very unique flower buds. You can see they're kind of like rolled up petals, which is really kind of cool and interesting, and unlike a lot of different flowers that we grow from bulbs. And ideally that would be the right stage to pick those for cut flowers, because they will kind of unfurl and unravel as they grow and open, and we can get the best vase life from that. I grew a lot of different varieties, a lot of different blues and pinks and kind of dark mahogany colors. And these actually bloomed very early in the spring, usually about the second week of April for me here where I am, the same time as my ranunculus were blooming. So kind of a good companion plant if you grow something like ranunculus or daffodils as well. Those are blooming at the same time. These will perennialize depending upon where you are. I know some people have a really hard time getting them to come back every season, and from everything that I've read, that can just happen when you're just marginally on the border of their hardiness zone. So for example, if you've planted them and you're somewhere cold and it's marginally not the right temperature, that can occur. Same with a little bit too warm. So make sure you're giving them what they need as far as that. I personally like to fertilize these after they have bloomed, and we want to make sure to leave that foliage there as long as possible. We really want all that foliage after we've deadheaded the flowers or cut them. Leave as much foliage as possible and let them soak up that sun and energize that bulb for the next growing season. And we should have really, really beautiful Dutch iris flowers next year. In the past, I have had them revert back to a blue color when I've grown these different hybrids, so it will be interesting to see what happens with these next year when they begin to grow and to bloom. That's it for this video. I hope that it was helpful. As always, be sure to leave your comments down below. I'll be happy to, read those, try to answer any questions that I can. I just have my own experiences to go off of course. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you are having an absolutely beautiful day wherever you are. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.